because there's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Rejoice! Jon Jones has retired. The heavyweight division is free once again. The retirement doesn't come as a surprise, as he's pretty much said it hundreds of times that he's not going to fight Tom Aspinall, and Jones talked about his retirement as well. He says this, quote, "Today I'm officially announcing my retirement from the UFC. This decision comes after a lot of reflection, and I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for the journey I've experienced over the years. From the first time I stepped into the octagon, my goal was to push the boundaries of what was possible in the sport." Definitely pushed those steroid boundaries, all right. No, he was really technical and did help a lot with popularizing moves like spinning elbows and oblique kicks and stuff like that. He said, "Becoming the youngest UFC champion in history, defending my title against some of the best fighters in the world, and sharing unforgettable moments with fans across the globe. These are memories I'll cherish forever. I faced incredible highs and some tough lows, but every challenge has taught me something valuable and made me stronger, both as a fighter and as a person. I want to thank the UFC, Dana, Hunter, Lorenzo, God, my family, coaches, teammates, and all the fans who have stood by me through every chapter. Your unwavering support and belief in me have been my foundation. To my fellow fighters, thank you to bringing out the best in me and the respect we shared inside and outside the cage. As I close this chapter of my life, I look forward to new opportunities and challenges ahead. MMA will always be part of who I am, and I'm excited to see how I can continue to contribute to the sport and inspire others in new ways. Thank you for all being part of this incredible journey with me. The best is yet to come." Unquote. It is crazy to actually see him officially retire, and he's the last of the Golden Generation champions to retire. All the others did as well. He's had great fights, great performances, a very technical fighter. To be fair, Jon Jones is one of the greatest we've ever seen, but came the controversies, the steroids, the eye pokes, the privilege as he was the heavyweight champion. It absolutely taints his legacy to some level, and ending his MMA career by ducking Tom Aspinall is something that a lot of fans are going to remember from him the most, as the biggest duck in UFC history, by refusing to fight Tom Aspinall and wanting to fight other fighters instead, which is true. Jones did the biggest duck in UFC history. 2 or 3 of them. 2 of them for sure. The Tom duck and ducking Ciryl Gane on short notice, where they canceled an entire event for that. I mean, he ducked Chael, dude. Champions will rarely duck a short notice opponent. Like Islam Makhachev fought Renato Moicano on short notice. TJ Dillashaw fought Joe Soto on short notice. But when it came to Ciryl Gane, the undefeated, undisputed GOAT, Jon Jones did not want to fight him, and they scrapped an entire card because that's the only time it's ever happened in the UFC. Those were the biggest 2 ducks, and the last one was the final chapter in Jon Jones' career. That's crazy. He should have just fought Tom. This would be very different if he ducked Tom Aspinall 10 years ago instead of being the last thing that's happened in his career. As they say, you're as good as your last fight. And if your last fight is the one you ducked, a lot of fans are going to remember Jon Jones as a duck. Even though he's beaten some amazing fighters, again, it's very hard to overlook the steroids. It's the reason why I don't call Jon Jones the GOAT. Because in my opinion, if you tested positive for steroids, you can't be the GOAT. And especially testing positive multiple times throughout their career, I can't call Jones the GOAT. In 2016, he tested positive before his UFC 200 fight against Daniel Cormier for clomiphene and letrozole. That's when DC fought Silva on short notice. Then a year later, he fights DC and tests positive for turinabol. Then over a year after that, he tests positive for turinabol again before fighting Gustafsson. That's when they moved the event so Jones could fight. It's not just with Jones, it's with other fighters as well, like Anderson Silva. I can't call Anderson the GOAT, even though he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. He did test positive for steroids. There's like TJ Dillashaw and various other fighters throughout history that tested positive. And just like Jones, I can't call them the GOAT either. And Jones had more steroids than all of those guys. Besides maybe like Josh Barnett or something. Like those 2 are steroid goats. And that's pretty much it. So his heavyweight title reign consists of a Ciryl Gane win, which is a great win, especially finishing him in the first round, but then defending his belt against Stipe, not fighting Tom Aspinall ever, might go down as one of the worst title runs in UFC history. And Stipe, of course, way past his prime, didn't fight for 3.5 years, all that. There was an interim champion. The interim champion defended his belt before Jones did. Yeah, definitely one of the worst title runs in UFC history. And honestly, I am happy that Tom Aspinall is the undisputed champion. He's in his prime. He wants to constantly fight. And he was just waiting around for Jon Jones for so long. And you can't blame him. I mean, he was the interim champ trying to fight the champion. And it never happened. Jones did not want to fight him. And it's crazy that Jones says that Tom is just another guy. Beating Tom Aspinall would be one of the biggest wins in Jones' entire career. Maybe second to like Daniel Cormier. It really seemed like Jones did not want to fight him because of how difficult the fight could be. He talked about how Tom Aspinall is so good. It seemed like he just wanted the easiest matchups, which included Stipe Miocic, which included Alex Pereira. Tom was way too hard for him. And now the new heavyweight champion can continue his legacy. He's already defeated 5 fighters in the top 10, an average fight time of just over 2 minutes. But who would he fight next? I think it has to be Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is the #1 contender. He's only ever lost to Jones and Ngannou, even though Volkov should have won the decision in the last fight, but officially he won the fight. He's never fought Aspinall before, whereas Volkov did. If they do benefit Volkov with a title shot, we've seen the fight before with Aspinall. We never saw a fight with Ciryl Gane, and he did officially beat Volkov, so it's a lot more interesting because of that, but I don't think any of them beat him. I don't think Volkov beats him. He gets submitted in the first round. I think Ciryl Gane gets submitted in the first round. I think Jailton Almeida gets knocked out in the first round. Waldo Cortez Acosta is fighting Sergey Pavlovich, so if he wins that fight, he gets a title shot. I think he gets starched as well. So it really looks like Aspinall is going to run through this division very easily. And that's the guy that Jones did not want to fight. At least all the other heavyweights will fight him. Jones with the belt ran away from him. So it's a bummer that we don't get to see that fight. But there is a possibility that Francis Ngannou will fight Tom Aspinall in the near future. They asked Dana White if they will accept Ngannou again. And Dana didn't say no. He said that he doesn't believe Ngannou wants to come back. Well, if Ngannou wants to come back, will they re-sign him? Because the Aspinall and Ngannou fight would be huge. And funny enough, it would be the fight that Jones missed out on because he refused to fight Tom Aspinall. Jones also wanted to fight Ngannou. On the news that Ngannou wanted to return to the UFC, Jones said that he wants to fight Ngannou. Well, now since he's retired, it's funny because the two guys that Jones ducked could potentially fight each other in what would be one of the biggest heavyweight fights in UFC history. And the fight is so good because Ngannou is the only heavyweight that I think could test Aspinall. He's the only guy that could beat him. One-punch knockout power, the reach advantage, decently well-rounded. He's bigger. His boxing most likely has gotten a lot better after fighting Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. His wrestling looked good against Renan Ferreira, but I don't think it's going to be the same against Aspinall. That is the best heavyweight matchup possible now that Jones has retired. And hopefully they can re-sign Francis, have him fight Tom Aspinall, one of the biggest fights of whatever year they put that on. And honestly, I don't know who wins. I can see how both guys beat each other. And do you know what the craziest thing about that is? Ngannou fought more recently than Aspinall. He fought in October of last year, whereas Aspinall fought in July of last year. I was thinking like maybe Ngannou would have ring rust, but he fought more recently than Aspinall did, of course because he was trying to fight Jones and Jones wouldn't fight him. But it still wouldn't be an advantage one way or the other. Both guys haven't fought for a while, and I think when they get in there, it makes the fight even more interesting. So that is the fight to make. Dana said that he's going to talk to Tom Aspinall next week to get him a fight. I think there's 4 options for Tom. There's Ciryl Gane, Alexander Volkov, Francis Ngannou, and Alex Pereira. Those are the only options for Tom Aspinall. I think Ngannou's the best fight out of all of them. Then Alex Pereira, then Ciryl Gane, then Volkov is the least interesting because he's the only one out of them that fought Aspinall already. So the Alex fight is more interesting than Gane because he defended all of Uncle Ive's takedowns. He's also 243 pounds. He's the size of an average heavyweight with better striking than Tom, very good takedown defense, at least in the Uncle Ive fight. If it wasn't for that fight, none of us would think Alex would even have a chance of beating Aspinall. But now there's some interest there. I think Aspinall still beats him on the ground, but it has become a lot more interesting seeing Alex defend all of those takedowns. Now it does seem like most people call Jon Jones the greatest of all time, and depending on how you look at the steroids, if you disqualify steroids, then you also disqualify Jones, who tested positive more than most fighters ever did. But if you include the steroids, you could put Jones as the GOAT. He was very well rounded, most title defenses in UFC history, not consecutive though. Most title wins in UFC history. He has all the accolades. He's beaten very good fighters as well, like Daniel Cormier, Alexander Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, the legends that came before him. But there was a Dominic Reyes fight, who most thought defeated him. The Thiago Santos fight was very close, and a lot of people believe that Gustafsson defeated him the first time they fought. So not a perfect run, but I guess if you were to say who is the greatest of all time, you would have to say it is Jon Jones. Now, that might not be the best image for the UFC or MMA in general, that guy is the GOAT. That's the face of MMA. A guy who ducked Tom Aspinall, arguably Francis Ngannou as well, didn't want to fight Stipe in 2021, not fighting Chael Sonnen on short notice, therefore they scrapped the entire UFC 151 card. They moved an entire event for him just so he can fight because he tested positive against Alexander Gustafsson. Fights riddled with eye pokes. Jones may be the greatest fighter ever, but he's also the dirtiest fighter ever. A quote by Rampage Jackson. The greatest, but also the dirtiest. And of course, all the crazy stuff outside of fighting as well. Jones has a very polarizing legacy. A lot of ups and a lot of downs. So it is crazy, man. Jon Jones has officially retired. What do you guys think of Jones retiring, and who do you guys think Tom Aspinall should fight next? And what do you guys think of Jones' entire legacy, what he's done for MMA and his run altogether? And I'll see you guys in the next video.